Well, painful it may have been, but it was a good day to announce a restructure. Fairfax shares jumped more than 7% on plans to radically overhaul the century-old newspaper group. While investors welcomed the move, the question remains whether it will be enough to stop the internet from killing off the media group for good. Neil Woolridge reports.
Not for the first time, the Fairfax Media Group is close to writing its own death notice. In the early 90s, media scion Warwick Fairfax drove the group into receivership after his debt-fuelled takeover. These days, the internet is pushing Fairfax to the brink, so now the company's leaders are planning a major overhaul.
I don't think I've seen a quality newspaper organisation make as radical a set of changes to their operating business model as these. This is truly radical.
Under the changes, Fairfax will make the Age and Sydney Morning Herald tabloids, introduce digital subscriptions for those papers, close its main printing plants in Melbourne and Sydney, and integrate content across digital and print platforms.
It's the first step on a very long road to turning around the company. There's obviously a lot more that they have to do.
The changes are expected to cost 1,900 jobs over 3 years, but save Fairfax $235 million a year. However, that compares to a net loss in 2011 of $400 million after big write-downs on its mastheads. And unions are fuming over the proposed moves, meaning any change may be much more disruptive and costly than management had bargained for.
They're bringing their costs down to the level that looks sustainable for the next few years at least, depending on what happens with display advertising. They've also got to grow their online business much faster, and I'm not sure they've got the solution to that problem just yet.
Fairfax is also selling part of its stake in the New Zealand auction site TradeMe to help pay down debt. But no one can say whether those cost savings or the extra revenue from internet subscriptions will be enough.
The power of the big broadsheet newspapers is well and truly finished now, and the classifieds have gone and they're struggling to hold on to the display advertising. You know, even display advertising in print's falling by about 8 to 10% a year. That's probably got a few more years to run.
The big problem now is you're in the midst of the structural decline and then you have a cyclical decline on top of it. And none of us know where this will end up. History will tell you it probably won't be enough. You'll probably need another round or two of cuts.
Alan Gray owns 9% of Fairfax, making it a top 3 shareholder. Simon Moret says the proposed changes are a positive move.
The biggest worry to us was that you had all these problems going on and it didn't seem like management was fully appreciative of the fact that something radical has to be done.
While management has been remodelling Fairfax's newspapers, the board still needs to mollify its single biggest shareholder. Gina Reinhardt now owns nearly 19% of Fairfax, but is yet to get her wish of 2 board seats.
Having a director with a lot of shares is always better than having a director with have no shares, simply because I think they tend to take more care. But you have to represent all shareholders. You can't just represent your own interests.
Australia's media shake-up is not finished yet. News Limited is expected to announce an overhaul of its operations, including job cuts, possibly as early as this week.